Okay, hey riders, Ryan and Sarah here. Sorry for the delayed time getting this video to you, but here it is. This is a video for day 3 and day 4, okay, of the Great Divide Mountain Bike Tour 2014. So when we last finished off, we were in Boulton Creek, at the Boulton Creek campground in Peter Lougheed Park. And it was our first day of actual riding. So now we'll go into our second day of riding. So our day today goes from Bolton Creek Campground to Sparwood, BC. So we crossed pretty early on into British Columbia from Alberta. Our day, actually probably the toughest part of the day, not too far after leaving the campground, begins going up our first mountain pass called Elk Pass. And to give you an idea of the distance of a lot of these passes that will be going up, most of them are about 3-4 miles in total distance. But if you look at the adventure cycling maps, they're quite often referred to as a virtual wall. So although it's 3 or 4 miles, it could take a couple hours for some people to get up, and we'll definitely accommodate for that. So we begin by going up Elk Pass, and then most of our day from then on is actually a net downhill descent all the way into Sparwood, and distance, like I said, is 128 kilometers, so not too bad on the distance. Most of it net downhill, and actually once we get up and over Elk Pass, the route is following a gravel road for the most part, so lots of room, no real technical terrain beyond that. The only other kicker, and I should say it because I know someone will call me out for it, is pretty close to where we finish in Sparwood, there's another town called Elkford. And once again, Sarah will explain a little bit about the support in a second, but once we get to Elkford, there is another kicker of a little wall to get up of. It's paved, it's a little bit shorter than the Elk Pass, but those are really our only 2 climbs for the day. And then again, it's another net downhill descent down into our Sparwood campsite.
All right, so as for support stops for day 3, you'll have had breakfast at the campground at Peter Lougheed Provincial Park, and then you guys will be on your way to Sparwood. Due to the nature of the roads in that area, the support vehicle will be driving on a highway that doesn't parallel the route that you guys will be taking, so there are no planned support stops for this day. As Ryan said, it's 128 kilometers. At one point you will come across Elkford, British Columbia, before the campground, so there will be an opportunity to restock, maybe rest and refuel if necessary. If there were any issues, the support vehicle could get into Elkford to meet up with you guys, but the plan is to see you at the end of the day in Sparwood.
Good. So we'll be staying at the Mountain Shadows campground. We stayed there last year. There really aren't many options in the area, so we get what we get. It turned out to be a nice little stop. We saw a family of deer in the morning we left. Family of deer. Kind of a straightforward day for day 3. You guys are on the trail pretty much out on your own, and hopefully we'll have everything set up and ready for you guys when you get back to, or get to Sparwood. Yeah, and even though we don't have a support stop midday, we'll carry enough. It'll be a bit of an easier day, and if all else fails, once we hit Elkford, we can go grab a pizza or something. Yes. We'll keep it fun. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so let's move on to day 4. So day 4 is probably one of the more complex days of the entire tour.
We can do a little switcheroo.
Yeah, we're trying something different this year, and part of the reason behind that is last year we took a route from Sparwood down through Fernie, paved highway route, all the way to the US border, and we had a campsite on the other side of the border. Now that's part of what the adventure cycling calls the Fernie Alternate. So that being the easier route compared to going through a section that I've referred to often as the Flathead Valley. So often you'll take the Fernie route if there's weather, or if the road's been washed out and things like that. But this year we're going to try to make a go for the Flathead Valley. And I know that there's a couple of people for sure that are doing this tour specifically because we are going that route. So you have two options on day 4. You can take the Fernie Alternate, an easier route. Now I should say the main road is paved, but I have been talking with a local race organizer about taking some single track trails from Sparwood to Fernie. So that's about 30 kilometers. And then another alternate route down to our campsite for the night, which is at Kikomun Creek Provincial Park on Lake Koocanusa. So that's a new campground for us. The lake's not new, but a new campground. So you have the easier option of 70 kilometers. I expect you to finish in a reasonable time, no big concerns. You have some major stops along the way, the main one being Fernie. There's Tim Hortons if you want it. Granted, we'll always encourage the healthier route, but it's there and it's most welcome when you're doing this sort of thing. So you have the easy route, it's really straightforward. Now, if you take the hard route, you're looking at 178 kilometers. This is the traditional route that follows the Tour Divide race, or it's what the race follows. It's remote, there's going to be no support whatsoever, and it's not because we don't like you, it's because really the vehicle just can't get in there. So essentially what you're looking at is you have a mountain range in the middle, and on one side is the easy route and well accessed by highways, and then on the other side is the Flathead Valley. And as far as the race goes, it's the region known most for seeing grizzly bears and other such wildlife. So it is very secluded. Our day, if you take it with me, you're looking at 3 big mountain passes, and the other challenge being just that we have to carry all our own gear for the day, okay? So food, water, that sort of thing. Once you commit to that route, you're committed.
So there might be some headlights.
Yeah,
just in case.
we'll definitely have headlights. As far as what to expect from the trail, so we go over, the first mountain pass is the Flathead Pass. We go over one called Cabin Pass, and then the final one is Boulton Pass, which we explored a little bit on the tour last year. We had a lunch stop there. So 3 big passes. They're all kind of in that 3 to 4 mile range as far as climbing. All very similar as far as difficulty. In order to go this route, you're going to have to probably hold a pretty good clip, stay with the group. So this is going to be kind of one of those rare moments when I kind of step in and have one-on-one conversations with everyone that wants to do it, and really kind of assess ability levels and see how you're feeling the night before. And we'll have that one-on-one discussion before we go out, because like I said, once we commit, we commit. There's no access for the support vehicle. It's either you go out the way you came or you keep going. And 178 kilometers, that's, for the people that go this route, that will probably be the toughest day next to our final day going into Whitefish, which everyone will do. So a very challenging day, but very picturesque. A good chance you'll see some interesting wildlife, and actually one of the few chances to take on some single track trail on the dedicated divide route. I posted not too long ago a picture of some riders with hike-a-bike going up a steep pitch. It's funny, it's not very far at all, but this one pitch, depending on the weather, if it's really wet, could take us, I wouldn't be surprised if it took us an hour or 2. So a lot of interesting terrain if you head that way, but that's why we sign up for these things, and that's what makes the good stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now for support vehicle options for day 4. I will start with option number 1, the 70-kilometer route from Sparwood to the campground, going through Fernie. For the people doing that route, you'll have a bit of a leisurely morning. You might not have to take off quite as early as the other riders, so that's kind of a bonus. Depending on whether you do the single track Ryan was talking about with the race organizer or not, either way you'll come through Fernie. There's some opportunities to stop there. Last year we had a Timmy's stop, as Ryan alluded to. Really nice, picturesque town, and we'll provide an opportunity to take it all in. So for those riders, then they'll carry on to the campground, and we'll kind of have the afternoon to relax and enjoy. And we're on a lake, so that's great. That's a nice option for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So the other option, the long epic day, those riders, it's pretty simple for the support vehicle, will not have any support from us. So once you take off, we will not see you until the end of your day at the bottom of Boulton Pass. So we had lunch there last year, we're familiar with that area, and the idea is that the support vehicle will pick up those riders and their bikes and bring them back to the campground. It's another 30 or 40K, I believe,
Yeah.
to the campground, and we didn't think it was necessarily fair to make those riders ride that distance after their epic day through the Flathead Valley. So that's the plan.
Good. Okay, so that is day 3 and day 4 of the Great Divide mountain bike tour, and lots more fun to come.
Mm-hmm. Yep.